Alrighty everyone, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about their new Star Wars TV shows, movies, and other projects currently in the works by Favreau and Filoni that's really gonna borrow a lot from Star Wars legends. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, as you all know, a lot of projects are currently in different phases of development, alright? We have some that are in the early development phase, some of which are in principal photography, post-production, etc. So John and Dave really have their hands tied. They're working on over 12 Star Wars projects at once, and more of which will be announced next year and the year after that, to really fulfill the roadmap of the franchise. Now, one thing that Disney CEO Bob Chapek is allowing John and Dave to do is by really paying attention to the key portion of the Star Wars fan base, and that is of course those who grew up with the prequels and the originals, and they want to make sure that they're going to make those particular fans happy. Now, that's not to say that they're going to 100% exclude the fans that are the ones that grew up already with the sequel trilogy movies that were first introduced to Star Wars that way, but they really want to mainly focus on prequel trilogy lore, original trilogy lore, and how they can extend that and create a new Legends universe in a sense, right? So, with that being said, what's even all the more exciting about what they recently did with, of course, one of the new Star Wars projects has a lot to do with how it ties directly in to the Phantom Menace and the entirety of the prequel trilogy as well. Now, with, of course, production, of course, beginning on other shows. Now, since the introduction of Luke and Mando Season 2, John and Dave have been developing some innovative concepts for Star Wars with their new and upcoming Star Wars shows that are in the works. Now, it's described that currently Favreau and Filoni are setting up another era of the Star Wars universe that is going to date before the events of the Phantom Menace, but after the High Republic era, and are getting ready to create multiple stories that will feature Darth Plagueis in upcoming Star Wars lore, as well as young Palpatine. Now, their first appearance is set to take place in a new anthology series called Circle of the Wills, and that George Lucas recently cast actor Michael Shannon to do the motion capture work for Darth Plagueis when the time comes, in this new project that will arrive in the near future. What Favreau and Filoni are setting up right now is telling new tales of the House of Palpatine, as well as the new canon backstory of Darth Plagueis. Now, let me just stop here quick for a second. Now, in case you guys don't know about this, Circle of the Wills, we briefly talked about it, it's going to be an anthology show, meaning each and every episode is going to be its own story, kind of like Tales of the Jedi in a sense, but even more distinctive, right? Each episode will really have no connection to the other, and is going to take place in its own point in time. And each episode's going to be very lengthy. We're talking about like an hour plus. Now, the thing about that is one of which is going to feature all about young Palpatine and Darth Plagueis, how Palpatine turned to the dark side, how Palpatine destroyed his master. We're going to be able to see all of that, of what was teased by Palpatine in that opera scene, alright, that's what I like to call it, when he's talking to Anakin Skywalker about Plagueis and talking to him about how he could cheat death and really save people's lives, essentially, and create life. Now, the thing about this, too, is what Favreau and Filoni are doing is that they are going to be taking a lot of inspiration from the James Luceno book, Plagueis. So if you guys have not read that book, called Plagueis by James Luceno, it's a fantastic book, it's a fantastic read. I do suggest everybody go ahead and check it out, because that's exactly what John and Dave are going to be cherry picking from. Some fans may not like that, you know, everyone's different, everyone has their own liking, but I thought that that book was amazing. It was very, you know, engaging, it had a lot of things. And when you look at something like that, everything related to Star Wars as a whole, alright, it's all about really evolving. Everything has to get, you know, an evolution in a sense. And in order to really do that, You know, when you look at everything that has been, you know, in the works for a very long time now by John and Dave, it really dwindles down to how accurate they can make it towards Star Wars Legends. Now, on top of this, both John and Dave have finally decided that they want to stay, of course, true to Plagueis' character as a Sith Lord when it comes to his beliefs. However, whether or not he will be a Mun still is up in the air. A Mun is, by the way, his species, for those of you that are new. Now, on top of this, too, John and Dave are creating a retcon that Plagueis wanted Palpatine to kill him in his sleep, and that it was the only way for his spirit to escape, as hinted in The Rise of Skywalker and Palpatine's case too. So yeah, you guys may recall when Palpatine tells Rey, you know, strike me down and my spirit will fall into you, or something like that, right? And, you know, he specifically says that, you know, we will be one. Basically, that's what Plagueis wanted. He wanted Palpatine to actually destroy his host body and to allow his Sith spirit to escape. And that's what John and Dave are set up to retcon. They're going to make it that Plagueis actually survived, in essence, I guess you could say. Not in the literal sense, not his body, but his spirit actually does survive in the upcoming canon, is what John and Dave are setting up. So on top of this too, the live-action Plagueis is going to be a big thing sometime by 2025. However, Circle of the Wills is set to begin production next year, with storyboards already in the works right now. So you can see the timeline, right? They're going to begin a script next year, 2024 is when they're going to begin filming, and they want to get this thing out by early 2025. And honestly, guys, I mean, time moves fast. Look how fast 2022 went by. It's basically the end of the year now. We only got like less than 2 months, and we're already rolling into 2023. So here's the next thing that I do want to bring up is Michael Shannon. Now, we talked about this about a month ago, of how George Lucas, behind the scenes, is the one who chose Michael Shannon to do the motion capture work and the voiceover work of Darth Plagueis. Alright, so he's going to be Plagueis, but it's going to be an all CG character just like Snoke. And I like that. I think that's how Plagueis needs to be. I think that if you did practical effects, it may come across as a little strange. It could have worked, but I think that Snoke, alright, regardless if you like him in The Force Awakens or dislike him, or even that, of course, in The Last Jedi, I think that maybe, you know, this is probably the best route to go, because CG is only evolving, it's getting better and better, especially with motion capture tech. You have endless possibilities there. So how they're going to do it with Michael Shannon really is all dependent on execution as well. You know, the mannerisms and everything around the like. I think that what they have to do is they have to have him read the book, understand the character of Plagueis, and really get that character. So overall, you know, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this, because we can see that Favreau and Filoni are going to work. They're really trying to make fans happy. They're doing everything that they can. So let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.